Welcome to Crash Reviews. My name is Crash, and this is my review of The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 1. Now, the show does start off a little bit slower this time around. I'm not going to go into heavy spoilers or anything like that, but it does start off a little slower than I was expecting given the climax of Season 1 and where it left us off. But it does quickly pick up its pace. And I really, really enjoyed the episode. I think it could have been a little bit better in several different ways. I think the pacing could have been a little bit better. I also personally wasn't a huge fan of some of the in-between scenes. Without going too heavy into spoilers, I just felt that there was some unnecessary filler scenes in there that just didn't really need to be in there. When you watch it, you may agree with me, you may disagree with me, but I know there are a lot of people online that have said that the universe is being made smaller. For instance, in this episode, we go back to Tatooine again. We were on Tatooine in Season 1, Episode 4? I believe it was Episode 4. May have been Episode 5, with the bounty on the assassin played by the incredible Ming-Na Wen. She was fantastic. I wish her character had survived a little bit longer to be in the show. However, be that as it may, we return to Tatooine, and a lot of people have said that they feel it makes the universe smaller. And while I can't argue that it does make the universe a little bit smaller going back to Tatooine again, I also don't agree that it's a bad thing. Making the universe smaller is a bad thing, but going back to Tatooine, it's a keystone, or a touchstone, if you will. It's something that keeps us in connection to Star Wars. I am a very big Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars. Star Wars is genuinely what awoke in me a love for science fiction, fantasy, for reading even. I mean, I was a big reader before I started reading Star Wars, but in the summer between third and fourth grade, I picked up Star Wars X-Wing Rogue Squadron from my local library, and I fell in love. I fell in love with books of that nature. X-Wing Rogue Squadron was more sci-fi than fantasy. There wasn't Jedi. There was starfighter battles and all this awesome, sci-fi operaticness to it. But it was also a more personal story as well, in that it centered around this one squadron of X-Wing pilots training to be the new Rogue Squadron. But it evoked that love in me, and it started me down, a lifetime of nerddom and geekery, but I wouldn't trade it. I love it. However, Tatooine is a touchstone. It's a keystone. It is a foundational block of Star Wars. Tatooine's always been there. It's where Anakin was from. It's where Luke is from. And so him returning to Tatooine, for me, it's a callback and it's a touchstone. I know I keep using that phrase, but it's true. It is something that centers the Star Wars universe. We know that he's in the same universe as the rest of Star Wars because we have these familiar sights. We have these familiar things, like the Sand People, like Tatooine. And yes, I love seeing new worlds and new alien species. I love the discovery in Star Wars. And I think we get that in other episodes back in Season 1 and some of the episodes of Season 2 that have already aired as well. So Tatooine really touches back on an existing world and universe that we know of, and it plays into the stereotypes of the planet, the scum and villainy type stuff, the Wild West frontier kind of feel to it. I mean, the entire series has a Wild West frontier feel to it, but especially on Tatooine, it has that old Western town ruled by the bandits kind of feel. Overall, I really enjoyed the episode. I think it was a good choice to go back to Tatooine and touch base with the foundation of the Star Wars universe for the first episode of Season 2, give people something familiar that they know. And then from there, you expand into the unknown. And they definitely do that in Episode 2, which I will be reviewing as well. Now, I understand why some people didn't care for the episode as much. I do. Some of the pacing is a little weird. He interacts with the Sand People without spoiling the reason why he's interacting with the Sand People. He interacts with them on a person-to-person basis, which does kind of fundamentally change our understanding of Tusken Raiders, of the Sand People. Previously, they were outright hostile to anyone and everything that crossed their path. And now he speaks their language, which means he's associated with them enough that he knows their language, which also calls into question how often he's been on Tatooine, in regards to some spoiler things that happen in the episode. But it's curious. But it does kind of humanize the Sand People, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. I think it's a bad thing because it takes away a villain. And not necessarily a villain, but it takes away an antagonist. You know, that's a danger out on the Dune Sea, running into Sand People. That's something you should be afraid of. And he has no reason to be. He knows them. He knows their language. He can negotiate and associate. And anybody that's with him, you know, can do the same through him. And it takes away an element of danger. And I don't like that, personally. But overall, it was a good episode. I enjoyed it. It definitely picks up towards the end of the episode, which is always a good thing. I give it probably about a B minus, personally. I was thinking C plus, but it's really about a B minus. It's a good episode. A little bit less flashy and ostentatious and everything than I was hoping for from the season 2 opener. I understand season 1 had kind of, you know, the same thing. It was a little more down to earth, but we've already gotten introduction to the characters and the concept of this show, so it would have been nice just to have something a little bit more fast-paced and exciting for the first episode of the new season. Anyway, without spoilers, that's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button. If you want to see more videos from me, hit subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss my uploads. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. And I have been Crash.